either born gay or straight?
I believe we're born as God created Adam and Eve, so I don't believe that we are born gay.
Absolutely not. I don't think there is a gay gene per se. If you're interested in this study, anyone can go to research Simon Levy, who's a person he spent his whole life in trying to find the so-called gay gene. The human genome has been mapped out. X and Y genomes, the sex genes, have been mapped out, and they can't find a gay gene. This Simon Levy guy put himself a quote and said, I can't conclude that there is such thing as a gay gene. There are some people who can provide some statistical studies that will say there can be some predispositions to homosexuality, but that's also fine because there's predispositions to obesity, there's predispositions to drug addiction and all these kinds of things, but we don't encourage people to take them. In fact, we try to teach them how to strive harder not to fall in that path.
I don't believe there is a biological gene known as the gay gene or something.
They would really like to have that idea. I understand that they would really like that. From what I understand, that's not the case. But predispositions, we can be predispositioned to anything.
No, I don't. Not at all. I think it can happen from certain incidents or some form of influence, but I definitely don't think it occurs from birth. No way.
I personally believe that everyone was born straight, that's how God created us.
Human race has, been around for a long time, and, the only way for us to, keep moving, to keep breeding is with a man and a woman.
I don't believe they are born as a gay or as lesbians because I believe they're born as normal, but it's just the way they raised up. It's just different. Maybe it's a family, the parents, maybe they had domestic violence or any kind of things.
I don't think anybody could be born homosexual if the creator is God.
No. There's nothing that's been proven to show that there are people that are born homosexual whatsoever.
Do you think we have a responsibility of preventing the spread of same-sex marriage in that culture and society?
Absolutely. I think we have a role as the church is part of society, whether we like it or not. It always has been, it always will be. And we have a role to, the Bible says, let your light so shine before men, and that's exactly part of letting your light so shine before men, and that is you have to stand up for what's right, and what's right is what's right, and truth has always been objective. Relativistic frameworks of society will try to negate that, and that's exactly what's happening here. It's not an attack on equality, it's an attack on God.
I don't think we can influence the outcome too much. I think the outcome will be what it is. Yes, we can send out our views in love and respect, but I don't believe that we have a large influence on the outcome.
The Coptic Church and all the other great churches that we have, and other people, not just the churches, we just got to stick to the truth. We're here to stick to the truth, We shouldn't turn away. Some people give the example of Lot. They say that we turn away and watch it become what it might become. No, I think we've got to here be the salt of the earth and the light tower, and we stick to the truth.
I don't know if everyone can contribute to, trying to convince others who are homosexual, but, it's worth trying, and I guess you can't force anyone.
I don't think that we were able to prevent it, but I think we should still be vocal on what we believe. So in the same way that, people are actively presenting their views on why same-sex marriage should be legal, if we don't agree with that, we're in a mature society, we should be able to voice the opposite opinion as well.
We have to speak up in a wise manner, not attack, and educate people. Be wise about it and diligent, and educate people that they are blind. Educate them in a way that they can see the light and see what's happening. People are blind. We have this thing where it is love today, but do we really understand what is love? What is the meaning of marriage? What is the marriage union? This sacrament that's supposed to be between a husband and a wife, a man and a woman.
I think that marriage is sort of like a religious term, it's a religious context, and the government has taken that into law, and I feel like if the government was able to take that into law, then they're able to sort of do whatever they want. We have to differentiate what the government's definition of marriage is and what our definition of marriage is here in the Coptic Church.
If it is legalised, how do you think that will affect the community and the Coptic Church?
I think the only, obviously, people already have same-sex relationships, so whether it becomes legal or not legal, I don't think it has a major difference on the status quo that we have in the society today. Where it could have an impact to church, for example, is our priests are legally able to marry people, so you might have them be in positions where they're asked by someone who wants to, marry someone of the same sex. So it could create conflict for their duty, their civil duty, compared to their religious duty, and that wouldn't be something that we would want the church to put up with.
We have to know that everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and we have to accept each other's opinion, whether it's right or wrong as we perceive it.
When I start to say, homosexuality is the norm, then what are the people that are not practicing that? And then, I'll ask a question. You're legalizing same-sex marriage because these people accept it. And everyone thinks that there's no problems with that. Technically, by biblical interpretation, that is a sin, just as much as killing is. There's people that offer human sacrifices. Why don't we legalize killing? So people are straying from the main issue here. We're allowing a sin to become the norm.
A lot. Well, simple thing, for example, is that you can get two gay couple, they'll come to the church and say that they want to have their wedding at church. And the priest will have to do it. So there's it's going to create a lot of problems for us, as Christians, that is, So we need to speak up.
They have already experienced a lot of verbal backlash. I think it will escalate to physical violence. In other countries in the world who have legalised same-sex marriage, there are legal proceedings against those who do not support it. There are people who have been told they need to be re-educated, so that immediately becomes a dictatorship where your thoughts are not your own. They belong to someone else and they will be tailored to what other people believe.
If the no vote does win, I don't know how a Christian is going to be treated.
I think children need to be protected. I think materials that we consider at this stage as pornographic needs to be clearly labelled as pornographic, so it's not presented to minors at all under any label, not under the label of education or enlightenment or a free speech. It needs to be identified as pornographic, and the psychological effect of pornography or even sexualization on children needs to be voiced. There are a lot of studies that are being suppressed. There's a lot of serious medical implications that are completely suppressed. This is scientific, statistical, reproducible information that's completely suppressed.